Krishna. So welcome everyone. We would like to invite you and encourage you now to please, if you could, take your seats so that we can begin the program.
Thank you all very much for coming. Those who are not seated, please come and take a seat. This will be a very wonderful beginning to our weekend festivities.
And, it was a very, as Maharaj said this morning, it was a very magical time where all you wanted to do was please Srila Prabhupada. You were willing to do anything, and nothing was impossible.
So in 1972, we did a program. Prabhupada came with us to a sort of a Hindu center in Chowk, and they had a nice big hall. And Prabhupada gave a talk. It was crammed by mostly us. And
in 76, my husband Jayacharita was at the Mayapur festival, and Srila Prabhupada called him in and said, we were in Los Angeles, and my husband was the Pujari and the GBC, and Srila Prabhupada was really pleased by the way the movement was being facilitated in Los Angeles. That was the capital, or the international headquarters, that's the word.
Your mission to spread the sacred
and magazine distribution, big book distribution hadn't started really. Although Srila Prabhupada had printed the Krishna book with Tiny Plum printer in Japan.
If this was what I wanted to do, but I would come to the temple, the devotees would go every day on Harinam, up and down Oxford Street. It was amazing. And they would distribute, as Prabhupada said, back to Godhead. Actually, they had no big books at that time on Sankirtan, only VTGs. So I took the opportunity, let's give it a go. So I tried to distribute Back to Godhead magazine. And we would stand there. I mean, you've seen these newspapers, maybe you've not seen them now, but in the old days, the newspapermen would stand on the street corner, Daily Mirror, Daily Mirror. And people come up and buy their Daily Mirror. So I would stand there. No one knew what to do. I would stand with Back to Godhead. Back to Godhead! Back to Godhead! Let's go back to Godhead here!
And the marathons lasted a weekend, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday. So they were reporting what we called scores, but they were the book totals sold. And of course, as previous two speakers have said, the numbers were small, but over a period of time, I mean, take too long, but the numbers grew to hundreds of thousands a week, and then 500,000, then 1 million.
Past, but really the future is there. Such a great opportunity in this country for distributing. Now the sets of books, the idea is coming up. In America, devotees are regularly doing that, just going out on the streets. They have sets of books. They're selling minimum 3 books to everyone. And if they find someone a little interested, 5 minutes, that's the maximum time they'll spend. Sell a whole set of Bhagavatam to people who never heard of Bhagavatam, never heard of Krishna. So, economy, Britain's always lagging behind America.
I had been in Bhaktivedanta Manor for 1 day. I joined in Berry Place, and I was probably there for a week in 1974. I was 17 years old, and then I was asked to come to Bhaktivedanta Manor, and then the following morning, Partha came to me and said, "Oh, do you like travelling?" I said, "Oh, yes." I travelled a lot as a child. Oh. So next day, I was out. We were. I can't remember exactly if it was at that point, but I do remember we were going out for a week at a time in the vans, the icicle vans in the winter.
Part of Radha, we helped to build the Radharanieshwara temple. But later we moved to Radha Gokulananda here in Alderton Village, and we had a very sweet and vibrant ashram there, didn't we?
I came to London in 1977. So the Mother's Party had already started, and Vajrahari was leading the Mother's Party, and Mother Kamajuk. So it was quite organized as far as our morning program was very tight. Like the other devotees, we would get up quite early and have a cold shower to chant all our japa, morning program, breakfast prasad, and then we had a very special meeting in which we really get psyched up before we went out, because the whole mood was very exciting, scary, like we were going to battle, and we needed a lot of support from Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya.
I've been going through some bad karma before I became a devotee. And so I came to the manor in 1974, October. And in the beginning, I was doing some gardening for a few days. And I'm not really a gardener, although I've got a farm now. I believe in it. I believe in simple living, cows, protection and all that. But anyway, so after a few days, I was asked to go out in Sankirtan, and that was probably the best thing that ever happened in my life, to be honest.
In that very place, I was doing odd things around the building, cleaning the building and things, and I was also given the service as a pot washer in the kitchen. Now, and some of you remember very place, it was down, the kitchen was down in the basement, so it was dank, and the floor was wet, so I'd be washing the pots, and I'd be like, well, okay, so this is spiritual life, I'm just going to keep on doing this. So,
on the 21st of August, 1973, I was there when Srila Prabhupada invited Radha Gokulananda to arrive at the audience, on the altar across the way here. And I may have been the odd one out, and maybe not meant to be there, but I was there. And as Shakshi is saying, 50 years later, I'm sitting in this big pavilion as well. So it's not by accident, although I might think I'm an accidental addition to the audience, I'm not. And I saw things with my own young eyes, which I will never forget.
Fortunate, my husband and I were fortunate when we first saw Sri Radha Gokulananda in Delhi, in the Delhi Pandal, which was in November of 1971. And at that time, I was really struck by their beauty. And this Pandal was huge, a huge tent that could accommodate 10,000 people. And on the weekends, it would swell to 15 or even 20,000. So on the final day of the Pandal, I think it was a 10-day Pandal, very successful, and during the week, before Prabhupada spoke, the devotees would invite prominent people to introduce him. So we had the High Commissioner from Canada come, the Mayor of Delhi came, the Governor of Uttar Pradesh came, very well-known people.
That installation we'll never forget. We were actually in England because we were filming the Hare Krishna people, our first film on the movement. And by the way, Srila Prabhupada was the executive producer of that film because he financed it. At that time, money was being used for book publication and also acquiring temples.
Those Srila Prabhupada.
I think we all were intrigued and blown away by watching Prabhupada perform the arti. And I was also thinking Kishore, I was also thinking that it was an offering of love, the way Prabhupada did it.